everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. In today's episode, I got my guy Robert Crowder in the building. Robert, what's going on, brother?
Hello, not too much. Excited that it's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend in this snowstorm.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. It's Friday on a 10 Minute Tuesday, man. It's supposed to be Tuesday, man. What are you doing? You know,
Oh,
I'm joking, man. I'm just joking, man. But
released
yeah, I'm
on
excited
Tuesday.
for the weekend, man. I'm glad we get to the end of the week. So we've done a number of these, man. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Robert, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
All right, I'm Rob Crowder. I'm a data nerd who loves, I like collecting skills and solving interesting problems. I'm a collector of hobbies, and I think maybe I have too many, if like gardening, coffee, tinkering, so 3D printing and whatnot. Just got a laser engraver fairly recently, so excited about that. And then coding, and that's, yeah. So I collect skills. I currently work as a principal analytics consultant for PH Data, and I specialize in Power BI.
Awesome, awesome. So jack of all trades, got laser printer. You're collecting skills like Pokemon. You got to have them many. You gotta catch them all.
Got to
But at a
catch them
certain
all.
point, you had to get your start in data. So what really compelled you to get into data to even begin with?
It was a bit of a path, and I think a lot of people in data are like this. So I started out in my undergrad was mechanical engineering. Actually didn't think that I liked coding when I was in school for a while because I thought it was kind of tough. I started doing LaTeX, which is just a markup language, so not really coding. But as I worked through some of those problems, I realized that I was capable of it. So that helped, to to plant a seed for me. I wound up working as a mechanical engineer for some time, and I worked for the Department of Environmental Protection in New York for the city of New York. And while I was there were a few things that they had me do. And because the plant was it was still under construction at that time, they just needed people to do whatever task they had. So one of those tasks was doing report QA for reporting that was going to go to the Department of Health, which was not fun at all. But it required a whole bunch of Excel, and it was on a an air gapped system. So we just had like an old version of Excel. That was the only thing you can use. And I wound up learning about Excel, the macro recorder, which got how I got started. And then I started writing my own macros and learning VBA to make that more efficient. And really, it started because I hated the inefficiency and I was really annoyed with the amount of manual effort that I was doing. So I would look at something and go try to figure it out, much to the dismay of a now good friend of mine who wanted me to be doing the work as she told me to. But eventually she came around and saw the things that I was doing. And I started doing that where I would automate a lot of the processes that we had to make things a lot more efficient. So over time, I moved away from using the macro recorder when I learned more about the syntax of VBA and just started writing my own stuff. Um, at the same time, I was also working with a database system for our computerized maintenance management system, Avantis. And I was helping with at first just doing data entry and putting things into the system. But then I had to work a lot more with it, and I was helping with some reporting that was coming out of it. Um, I I met a guy there, and so my boss told me when he put us in a room, he said, "You two are now married. You're working together." And I heard that they had some issues with crystal reports. And I said that, maybe I can help you with that. And he kind of scoffed at me. He's like, "Do you know crystal reports?" I was like, "No, but I learned fairly quickly, and I think that I can." So as he and I were working together, I did a lot more crystal reports. I started to understand it. That's actually how I got into SQL by seeing different joins that were there,
Yeah.
and it was inefficient the way that it was going, and I didn't like it. I got to learn more about this, about these. What is this inner join? What is this left join? So it was working with crystal reports and also with this report QA. And I just really continued to do more and more with that. And then eventually, so people would come to me to build automations for them when it came to something with Excel. And then also for the crystal reports, I would just do a bunch more reporting. And then I eventually wound up finding out about, well, first it was Power Query while I was doing stuff for Report QA. And then I found out about Power BI and saw that Power Query was the ETL engine for Power BI, which made it incredibly simple for me to start. I asked about that and if we had licensing. I was told that we did, and I was able to take all the Crystal Report stuff that we had, turn it into Power BI, and so I just kept going down this path. And I was trying to get myself into a computer role. Now, working for the city, sometimes that's a little bit tough to make the transition. They're asking, "Do you have the schooling for this?" I was like, "No, I've just been doing it for years." Eventually, there was a guy there, a friend of mine who was my supervisor at one point, who really pushed for me and got me into that role. So I got into the full-on computer role there, and I was just doing that full time. I didn't have to do as much of the engineering stuff that I was doing before. Um, and then also, because I like to learn, and I said Python was going to be my next thing during COVID. I decided to volunteer for a place called the Knowledge House. And I wanted to help them with just their curriculum and look over things. I didn't feel confident enough to do anything like tutoring. But somebody pushed me and they're like, "You're going to be good. Just go ahead and do it." So I wound up doing tutoring for that. And because I don't like looking like a fool, I put a lot of work in to make sure that I could help the people that were
Yeah.
there. Um, and so I got their curriculum and I really started. I had already known some Python, but being able to do their work so I could help them when they were struggling through it was incredibly helpful. And through that, there was another opportunity that came up. I One of the people that I was helping with Python, she told me about a program, Correlation One, and she was like, "I think you'd be great for this, and you should certainly apply." So I did, and I applied to their data science program. Wound up getting in there. And then while I was doing that, that's actually how I met Spencer.
Okay.
And and so meeting me, I got connected with him. They asked in one of the Slack channels if anybody had Power BI experience, and I said
Yep.
I do. I wound up getting a call and having conversations, and then eventually wound up moving over to PhD.
Love it.
And
Love
so
it.
that's where I've been for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Sounds like Spencer, man. He's always on a hunt trying to find people and
Yeah.
moving in the shadows, man. Love you, Spencer. You watch this man, you're my guy. So wow, phenomenal background, phenomenal start. Teaching will push you to learn skills
Absolutely.
that you think you have, but you want to be prepared for it. All right. So there's a concept I love to live by where it's fail forward. So everything you ever go through is a lesson for the next steps that you have. So thinking about that, what would you consider your biggest failure in your career, and what did you learn from that experience?
So I think spinning group projects, or anytime you're dealing with a group, that's where I found that in the past, I've tried to just do more work in order to get us past any of the issues that we've had. And sometimes that works and that works up to a certain point. But at some point that doesn't work anymore. And I've had some projects that didn't go well. And then some that I just almost burned myself out on, even though they did wind up going well. And I think learning from that is the fact that there's always something that I can wind up doing better. And so the thing that I've been working on lately is escalating sooner, or having those uncomfortable conversations sooner. Instead of just hoping someone's going to get their stuff together, or just trying to pick up the slack for them, getting over that discomfort of having that chat, the uncomfortable one, and getting people on the right page. And if that is, needing to, sometimes it's getting if we're working on a consulting project, sometimes that might be getting another resource,
Yeah.
which is uncomfortable to do. But I think that's been the thing that I've learned the most.
Yeah. That's a whoever wants to get in consulting, if you're watching this and you're a person who has a chip on your shoulder to be able to be the best, it's very challenging slash you got to take a step back and look yourself in the mirror to be like, hey, I actually really need help, and to get comfortable with that philosophy and mindset of more people the better, and raising your hand versus like, I'll stay up all night, I'll grind, I'll do whatever to get it done. I feel like that's a lesson a lot of us have learned throughout our journey.
I like that too, the asking for help, because I do that more now. Because
Yeah.
what you just said, there is like, I can do it, I can handle it. And sometimes you have to realize that even if this is something that I'm not the best at, let me reach out to someone who has that skill set,
Yeah.
and that can help guide me.
Yeah, I think the people who evolve and grow, whether it's work for organization or for yourself or consultant, the faster that you can raise your hand and be like, hey, I need help. You're really good at this, and let's work together. The more better off you are, and it just makes for a better life balance, lack of better words,
Yeah.
if you say. Okay, so thinking about this, my target audience are people who are just starting out in data, or they're pivoting into data, or they found this on the algorithm and they're like, what the heck is 10 Minute Tuesday? Let me watch this. So with that in mind, what is one piece of advice you'd give someone who's just starting out in their career in data?
If it's Power BI, read The Definitive Guide to DAX. Got to throw that one out there.
Got to.
Love that book. That
Yep.
helped me level up. But the other thing is, I would say, be relentless, and I guess realize that there's beauty in the struggle. Because there's been a lot of things that I've done that have been very tough to do for me, right? And I'm not necessarily the smartest person, but I will work hard, and I am relentless. So I am going to find a solution to that problem. And the more that I've done that, the easier that it's become for me to get to that. So now I feel more like when I approach a problem, it's not whether or not I can do it. It's just how much time is it going to take me to do it, and how much effort am I going to put into that. So I think being relentless has helped me a lot, and I've been able to help a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot better with coming up with solutions. But it's only because of all of the struggles that I've had.
Yeah.
So sometimes I make sure to let people know that when I show them something and it looks like I know it, or it came off the top, I'm like, this came because I've struggled through this.
Yeah.
I have seen so many errors that allow me to do this one simply. So I think this like, not like yeah, not stopping, being relentless, and then also if you're anything like me, um, connected to something that you care about. So I'm very project based, and if I'm not doing a project that I have to get through, or I feel like I need to get through, it's easier to stop doing something and not to go through that struggle. That's going to make you stronger. And then the last thing is what I did, is I was able to find a way to um, to use skills in the job that I was in. So I was in engineering, but I was able to start doing things that were more in data. And if you have the opportunity to do that, if there's some way that you can do automation or bring data in, or with, in the way things are going today, learning about prompts and LLMs and stuff like that, find a way to get better with that with the job that you're doing now, and then you'll be ready when the opportunities present themselves.
Sure, man. You got to put the work in and be prepared for the moment. And I like how you said that I make something look easy, but it's because I've thought about this and I've been hacking away at this thing for 20, 40, 30 hours. And,
Oh yeah.
it's funny, and I'll say this on camera. Have you ever gotten to the point to where, you're either dreaming about code and it's like you're sleeping and it hits you in your dream, or you're like on a walk or on a run or something and it just hits you. And it's like, you show up for the
Yes,
meeting and it makes it look easy, but don't realize the internal thought and dialogue that you had to get to that point.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love those moments though, because sometimes you could be sitting out with friends or at a bar or anything like that too, and people see you kind of go off
Oh,
as you
you're
start
not
to solve
present. Oh
to
my
solve it.
goodness. Oh my gosh. You're not present at all. You're thinking about this. Oh man. Yeah. Right there.
Yep,
Right
yep,
there. Right there. So
absolutely.
it's funny. The other night I was actually dreaming about cloud code. So I was trying to create some stuff and everything, and just like Tuesday night. And so my wife was talking. She's like, "Do you sleep well?" And I was like, "I dream about code all night. And markdown languages, different file types. It was just like it was all in front of my brain."
I get it.
So yeah. So we all been there. All right, Robert, tell me about the most influential people in your life and how they made an impact on you.
All right. So obviously my family, but I'm not gonna stop there. But I have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them, because I think that they put me in a position to capitalize on opportunities that presented themselves to me. What I do want to talk about is that job at the DEP that I was talking about. It's really the group of people that I was working with there that helped me get to where I am today. And it's because of I mean, there was a great group of people. We all had different skills, but we had this like overlap, and we would do projects together, and I would help them with something and they would help me with something. In fact, one of the guys there is the reason that I everything that I learned in Excel before moving to VBA, he pretty much taught me, and we sat there and worked together. And then that other guy that I was telling you about, who became my supervisor, um, he he did a lot to make sure that I had enough spotlight. He did a lot to make sure that I had the ability to do some of these things, and he pushed me to even get that computer position. So we worked well together. He saw the skill set that I had, and he leveraged that. And I think that without that group of people, from the DEP, I don't think that I would be in consulting, and doing well like I am now.
Yeah. Shout out to the people. Shout out to everybody that will help pull you up and take a chance on you and everything, man. So shout out to the people, man. That's awesome. All right, Robert, where can listeners find you at online?
My online presence is abysmal. something that I would like to change. So right now is just LinkedIn. But I do hope to expand and to start maybe writing some blogs on some of the things that I'm working on in the future.
Yeah, get on Substack, get on Medium, get on YouTube, share that you're passionate about it, man. The world needs to hear
I
it.
am.
Get some video content, man. They need more of us on here too, man. So I'll say that on wax. Whoever's listening, man, we need more of us talking and articulating. So Robert, this was great. Thanks for being on today, man. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And then, as I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a great day.